You know what we've not had in this save game so far? A good old proper cup run. We are into the FA Cup quarterfinals, and away from home we've been drawn against Luton Town of the Championship. Am I wrong for thinking this is extremely winnable now? Like, admittedly, when you look at the other teams here, there are some good teams here, but Notts County of League 2 have made the quarterfinals. It's not like we're the massive underdog either. I mean, admittedly, you expect Liverpool, Chelsea and Arsenal to get through, so the semi-finals onwards is going to be difficult, but somehow, some way, we are yet to play a Premier League team in this competition. Oh, and by the way, since you were last here, the youth intakes happened. Let's cover that nice and early. Yeah, intake happened. Players arrived. There's players here like Kieran Thomas that might have a little bit of potential. But in terms of current ability, safe to say he's not going to be pushing into the first team anytime soon. What I will say is with this intake, players like Thomas, players like Keys here, admittedly, they've got a long way to develop, and I do need to see significant improvement out of them. But I think these youngsters are better than what we've had in past years. Admittedly, that is not saying a lot. Alongside those players that I've just mentioned, it's basically a dumping ground of youngsters, and then the one other man I've signed from an intake in the last few years, in Lenny Alonzi, who admittedly, he's actually got quite good. Not that this graph is particularly good for actually illustrating player growth, so just take my word for it. But for a man who came through our youth intake, question marks over his potential, he's not completely awful. I don't know, maybe I'm just huffing copium and trying to deal with my sadness at how poor our intakes have been, but I do feel like maybe there has been a little bit of the needle moving this year. When you look at the facilities, you'd hope for a little bit more, wouldn't you? Yeah. Now, of course, last episode we wrapped up the transfer window. We have now spent over £80 million this season, which is kind of crazy. Admittedly, obviously, we've sold a lot of players too. But if we do just have a look at the overall club kind of finances, we're in a really healthy position. Obviously, we'll get a big wad of money for prize money at the end of the year. And alongside kind of the continuous TV revenue, we find ourselves north of £20 million despite all the money we have already spent. Unfortunately for us, that is kind of where the good news ends, at least in terms of massively turning around our form. Our first match after the deadline passed was against Liverpool away from home. We were 4-0 down at half-time. I can try and claim that we won the second half 2-1. It's not much of a consolation. I'm going to say it now, Florian Wirtz, quite a good footballer and football manager, it turns out. After being battered against Liverpool, I thought I'd try playing the more attacking system from the off against Bournemouth, and whilst we weren't 4-0 down at half-time, we were 4-0 down after 65 minutes. Bournemouth just hit us on the counter-attack. With the more attacking system, we just exposed our fragilities on the break, and Bournemouth really abused them. We did have Stoke in the FA Cup, and this was a highly winnable game. There in the Championship, we absolutely demolished them. Really good performance here, but then again, playing a team in the league below you kind of hope you'll do that. Against Crystal Palace, we could only muster up a 0-0 draw, but Nana played well in this game, getting an 8.2 rating. Against fellow promoted side Swansea City, we were 2-0 up inside 20 minutes. Really nice goal here. Nice build-up play, as we've become accustomed to. Maria Garcia grabbing both assists for our 2 goals that put us ahead early doors. The number 2 working the space and putting it in for Diop. Swansea City did reply almost immediately to cut the deficit to 2-1. We held firm until the 80th minute where they found space in behind and Williams tucked it away. Frustrating game this one for sure, blowing a 2-goal lead on the road, never nice. Well, let me tell you now, it's never nice blowing away a 2-goal lead at home either. We did the same against QPR. You might be able to spot the turning point in this game. Cardozo is a dingus. 2 goals right after half-time put us ahead, and then Cardozo, already on a yellow card, decided to play a spot of volleyball in the penalty area. He was given his marching orders for a second yellow card, and at 2-0 down, QPR had a penalty to draw level. Nana made a massive save, and I thought maybe we're going to get away with it. Spoilers, we did not get away with it. 2 goals in the last 10 minutes meant we drew for a 3rd game in a row, but at least we did avoid defeat. Now, of course, we have got Luton coming up today, who are in the Championship. In the previous round, we had Coventry, and it took this goal here in the 90th minute to win 1-0. Perhaps I should look at this as a bit of a cautionary tale as to why we can't afford to underestimate Luton today. This was a narrow win. And most recently, we took on Brighton. We drew 0-0, and it might kind of dawn on you when you look at these recent results. Actually, from a defensive point of view, we've shut up shop a fair amount lately. We've been improving defensively. There is a reason for that. Now, I don't know if you guys can remember, but there was a point early on this season where we changed our 2 wide players out of possession, I think, to be regular wingers rather than tracking wingers. And I'll be honest, I kind of forgot about that, but I do feel like that correlated with our defensive kind of efforts kind of been a bit crap. So I went back to the tracking wingers, and it has made a massive, massive difference. Diop and Quinones dropping deeper, just helping out defensively. Obviously, playing with more men behind the ball. It does mean that Aguiar has to work a lot harder as the lone striker. But actually, with 9 goals in 24 appearances for a newly promoted Premier League side, the El Salvadorian's really not been that bad. And as for Diop, the new boy playing out on the right-hand side, I really feel like he's not been too bad so far. 2 goals and 2 assists in the Premier League is not too shabby. Silva, who we also signed towards deadline day, we are having to train to play centre-back, so that's impacting his current ability right now a little bit. He's played 7 games, his average rating not nearly as good. And as for Blake, I can't speak English Pierce, he is... 6.7 rating through 5 games. That's all I'm going to say. Admittedly, he has only just recently returned from injury. We have been juggling with injuries lately, but we're starting to get to a point now where at least the major first-team players are fit. Now, we have drawn our last 4 Premier League games in a row, and those points just keeping them ticking up is just good to see, to be honest. We find ourselves 10 points clear of Leeds United. They've played a game more than us as well. There's kind of 3 teams towards the bottom that are looking a little isolated. Admittedly, Leeds did just win their most recent game against Nottingham Forest, who are rock bottom. But I'll tell you now, when I look at the fact we're playing Leicester City to keep things off today at home, and then I look at our remaining games of the season, the sooner we can get a few more wins on the board and just get to 38 points, the better, because we've still got Newcastle to play, Everton away, Chelsea away, Tottenham and Manchester United away too. There are some horrific games in here. But coming up first today, we've got a game against the Foxes. Leicester are in 13th. We're trailing them not by too many points. I'd like to think we can win this one, although they did win their most recent game against West Ham. Before that, they'd been struggling. Maybe that's going to give them a little bit of momentum. Now, in terms of team news for us, one notable player missing. Sassy is suspended. You naughty, naughty boy. The left-back continuing to improve. He's kind of improving at a rate that is a bit surprising, really, for a player who is 23 years old now. In fact, he turned 23 yesterday. But, yeah, really good improvements across the board. For a player who, at one point, I wasn't convinced was good enough to be my starter in the Championship, I actually feel like he's really, really good now. With him being out, it is going to mean that Nathan Morrissey, that we snapped up in January, is going to come in to play left wing back. I'll be honest, he's not wowed me since he's arrived at the club, but maybe that's a good thing. I don't think we're in risk of losing him for his release clause. The other man out for today's game is Spolyar. He is out for a few weeks actually with a sprained ankle, although he's close to recovering from it now. I really, really like this guy as a striker. He's been a bit of a useful super sub, has grabbed a goal in the FA Cup. Not having him on the bench is a bit of a shame, especially, and I can't remember if I discussed this in last episode because someone asked in the comments, but I maybe left it out the edit. Zidane Zidi has headed out on loan into January. Yeah, I decided to loan him to Sheffield United to get him some regular minutes in the Championship. He has started to find himself on the score sheet. I just felt like, for us, whilst he's a good emergency third-choice striker, he'd be better served by getting regular first-team football in the EFL, and of course still being on course to get homegrown in nation, which is really, really valuable for us. I want to say in a situation like this, it makes us light in terms of backup striking options with Spolyar out, but we've got Lennis, we've got Silva, we've got BJS. There's players here who can do it. Admittedly, in the case of BJS, who in recent times hasn't even seen himself making the bench, when you look at his stats for this year, maybe he can't do it. Maybe, just maybe though, he can be the hero on off the bench today. I'm fed up with the recent bad form. Let's put in a good performance. We won last episode. In fact, have we got to win every single episode so far this season? Or am I misremembering? I feel like our form when I do videos live has just been better. Here is our team. It's a strong old team. And there is their team. Cody Gakpo playing for Leicester. Does that feel realistic? I'm not sure how to feel about that one. Admittedly, of course, it's easy to forget at this point in this Park to Prem save game. We're close to a decade in the future. You know, things have changed. The world of football is weird. But, I say that, Lewis FC are in the Premier League. It's extremely weird. They've got a corner. I don't like this. Page to whip it in towards the back post. We get it away initially. Garcia is going to get on that and keep it in play. Now, Garcia's the kind of man who I'd rather almost he runs... Okay, I'm not going to say what I was going to say. He's giving away the ball in an awful area. We put in a tackle. What I was about to say with Garcia is he's the kind of player who I don't really trust his passing ability. So in that situation, maybe him running out of danger isn't the worst idea in the world. As I said that, He tried to run out of danger and almost cost us a goal. 20 minutes into this game, it's been a tight game so far, but we on the team getting shots away on target. In terms of the average possession, bizarrely for us, I think 40% is above average. A midi in the midi field for them gives it to Gonzalez. That was low-hanging fruit, wasn't it, of a pun. He's got the ball again in the midi. Page gives it to Grich. They're knocking the ball around really nicely here. Cody Gakpo in behind. Loads of players in the box for us. No one picks up the big man in the middle, though. For the sheer number of players we've got back here, right, there's like 3 players in the middle. The fact that this ball gets pulled back to the centre, well, not the centre spot, the penalty spot, and is tucked away is bloody annoying, isn't it? That was Leicester's first and only shot on target so far in this game, but we made it very easy for them, and we are not creating enough going forward. I mean, on balance, 1-0 feels pretty harsh. I think I'm going to change things up at half-time. If I go to tab number 2 here, you might notice some differences. I have been cooking up what my plan is for kind of future seasons, and I think it could be something a little like this. A kind of very conventional 4-2-3-1. In reality, it's very similar to the old attacking system that we've been using, just with regular wing-backs instead of advanced wing-backs, and then out of possession, the centre attacking mid doesn't drop deep. Silva is the man currently playing in this area. Obviously, he is normally our centre-back. The interesting thing actually is that both Pereira and Grommen can play at left-back and right-back respectively. Like, I've signed them to be wide centre-backs, and I probably wouldn't ideally use them as wing-backs. But in a situation like this, they kind of offer me the flexibility where if I'm not sure about Morrissey, for example, I can move Grommen into the left, move Silva in at the back, and then actually take off the left back. Or alternatively, if Maria Garcia's being a mentalist, like he sometimes can be, and just being a nutter on the pitch, Pereira could move to right back. I think in this instance, I'm going to take off Morrissey, the new boy. I say that. Pereira's anxious and on a booking. I think there's a sensible decision here, isn't there? We're going to play Grommen at the back. He's going to play alongside Silva. Pereira is the man who is going to make way. And in his place, I am going to bring in Addons, but then I'm actually going to swap Addons with Cardozo. Cardozo is going to get that free roll in the final third to just try and make something happen for us. And then I actually think Addams and Pearce should probably be swapped here. Pearce is just much better physically than Addams and has some really good passing and mental ability. I'm going to change the mentality, I think, to attacking as well here. We're going to go for things a little bit in this second half. For all that yapping, just the one sub made, but I do feel like it's important just to kind of explain the rationale, kind of how I'm thinking about evolving the tactic. It was definitely a consideration when we signed Grommen and also when we signed Pereira, the fact that they can play in those wider areas if I ever wanted to move away from a free back. Obviously, in this game here, at home, I just want to see us do a little bit more, and whilst it feels a bit dirty and boring to play a 4-2-3-1, there's a reason it's one of the most used shapes in world football. I think I'm going to ask our players to stretch the width of the pitch a little bit more here. And in terms of goalie distribution, I'm just going to switch it down to balanced. We're going to raise our defensive line a little bit. And for the line of engagement, we are going to just try and press higher. Now, we need to try and get the ball higher up the pitch if we can. And I think bringing in some fresh legs in the wide area is probably a good way to reinvigorate the press. I'm going to bring in Silva. I'm also going to bring in... Do I want to bring in BJS or Lennis? You know what? BJS, I'm going to show a little bit of faith in you. I'm going to go with just the 2 changes in the wide area for now. We're only a goal down. I feel like getting some fresh players in that wide area to help with the press is just a sensible decision. But time is ticking away, and while statistically we've been fine in this game, we've been pretty good in this game, we've not seen many highlights. We've not created good opportunities today. And unfortunately for us, Leicester, I feel like they've kind of just got our number here. They are on the attack all of a sudden. They have had significantly more of the ball since we changed systems. And they just tear us apart through the middle. Grugic scores. I was kind of hoping there might be an offside here. I don't think there is, though. Is there? There's a VAR check ongoing. Okay, the goal's not going to count. I did think he looked offside, but there was no reason, in terms of what I could see on screen, to imply that it was even being reviewed. Was this close? Can we draw the lines, please? Okay, he was like a yard offside. All right, things are getting desperate. We need to go on the front foot. I'm switching to a 4-2-4. Lennis, you are coming in to play as a channel forward. Out of possession, let's push high. Let's press high. in possession as well. The wing-backs can go forward. Go back and play as advanced wing-backs, lads. Bypass any press, look to pass into space, and let's turn it to balance for overlap. I feel like looking for overlaps is nice, but when you're trying to get the ball up the pitch, it just involves the wide players dwelling on the ball a little bit. And in a situation like this, I want us to try and get it forward and try and make something happen. Silva, free kick late doors. This is where we can shine. We've got 2 players free at the back post. It's whipped in. BJS was under it. It's cleared away, but only as far as Grommen. Can the left back get the ball in? Pierce gives it to Morrissey. Grommen. Morrissey. Addons. This is nice. This is pretty. Silva. Aguiar. Agonisingly wide. That was so close. We've not had many chances. That might have just been the chance. There's not many matches this season where I feel like we've been super hard done by. I mean, when I look at the stats of this game, still a little hard done by. I'll tell you what, match of the day is going to be rubbish tonight, isn't it? 4 1-0s and then a 2-2 draw. We are still 10 points clear of the drop. Do I think Leeds are going to get 10 points in their last 7 games? I don't think it's impossible, annoyingly. Now, I did notice there's a little bit of a gap till our FA Cup game. We've got a 14-day rest. It is 7 games without a win for us. I think our last win came, well, was it last episode against Villa in the league? Yeah, it's a long old while ago now. 2 months without a win really doesn't read that well, does it? But you know what? This game here is winnable. A lovely little distraction, perhaps. We're taking on Luton. We've done the away day before. That game's in 2 weeks. I don't know if there's an international break. Either way, a chance just to rest the players a little bit. I say that, loads of the players are on international duty, so maybe it's not a chance to rest the players a little bit. Always one of the funner days in Football Manager. The NXGN Award Top 50 Wonderkids has been announced, and unlike past years, one of the fun things about this year is there's a load of our players in it. Grommen in at number 4 is great. Diop is in at number 6 for us. Interesting to note, there's a couple of players here who play for Wrexham, who are on loan from Napoli and Brighton. Apparently Wrexham is the place players go to develop. Annoyingly, as I flick through things here, there are fewer of our players than I would like to see, but there are a couple more in at 30 to 40. You can see here, Bendel in at 35, Ortiz in at 36. And if we go one more screen over, Silva is in at 44. Interesting that 2 of those players in this list are players that we signed this year, and in fact another one was a player we signed this summer. I suspect reputation has a little bit to do with this award, and the reason that these players are the ones placing from our team is they got a better reputation from spending time at bigger clubs than us. Oh, apparently I missed Ziddy at 27. I really rate Ziddy. Ziddy is going to be quality. I was a bit sad I loaned him out to Sheffield United, but he was at risk of getting very unhappy about me not playing him enough. Now, unfortunately, there were some casualties over the international break. Pereira and Silva both out injured. Nothing too major here. I guess Pereira out for 3 weeks. Less than ideal, but it is mean we're going to have to, well, bring in some familiar faces. I think Jimenez is the man we're going to play at the heart of our defence. I am also thinking I might just try changing up the no-nonsense centre-back. That was actually originally brought in for Jimenez because he's not the best with the ball at his feet. But I feel like against this opposition, he should be okay. And in general, when Silva's playing at centre-back, he's probably better not playing as a no-nonsense centre-back. We also need a wide centre-back for the right-hand side. Haddad is the man I am going to bestow that honour upon. But besides that, we are very much at full strength for this game. Cardozo a little worse for wear after the international break, but his punishment for getting sent off recently is I'm going to play him while he's tired. Now, we are away from home against Luton today, which is why I am going to start with the 3 at the back system. Against Coventry, where we only won with a last-minute goal, I actually started with the more attacking system. Away from home against the Championship team, it didn't feel like it worked out that well for us, so we're just going to play things sensible and safe, maybe a little bit boring. If we do need to change things up and throw players forward, we can do that. Out of possession, they are playing with just a single lone forward, so I feel like our system of just playing out from the back is probably a good idea. I'm looking at the rest of their team here. There's nothing too unusual about how they're set up, although are they playing with 3 screening midfielders in the middle? They might well be. At the moment, they are screening not a great deal. We are dominating this game. We've had 7 shots inside the first 17 minutes, but much like the Leicester game, I need to see highlights. I need to see meaningful opportunities. Maria Garcia and Diop working it nicely on the near side, or rather the far side. Near side to me, I'm role playing, I'm on the touchline. Diop, Garcia, Sassy, take a bow, the wing backs link up. If we do end up going back to kind of a 4-2-3-1 longer term here at the club, I'm really going to miss how the advanced wing backs link up. Like the fact that both our wing backs are there, linking up in the opposition 18-yard box, like it will never get old to me. We got our noses ahead. They've actually got a free kick in a dangerous area here. Nana, get on your toes, son. It's whipped in. It's hit the outside of the post, I think. That was close. Having got the lead, I'm going to shout some praise at the players. Give me the green, happy, smiley faces. The dopamine I get. Remember when this wasn't in the game? I was so sad. Diop, with the ball on the far side, gives it to Aguiar. As that lone forward, he's got that responsibility to try and stitch up the play. Anyway, Gromman, little touch. Look at that fancy football. Sassy. Down the line to Julio. Julio, what are you going to do? In the Championship last year, he made it his job to terrorise defenders. He's done it again here. He puts it on a plate for Aguiar. It is 2-0. I will say, I love Julio. I don't know if he's going to be our long-term left attacking mid. I feel like he's a bit one-dimensional in his play. He's recently been kicking up a stink about a lack of a new contract, which I'm trying to just fan the flames on. He's currently on £6,000 a week, but he's got a 5-year deal at the club. And he wants £30,000. I'm not giving him that. Half-time here at Power Court. We are 2-0 to the good Notts County of League 2, drawing 2-2 at half-time with Liverpool. Imagine if they could have won that somehow. Anyway, into the second half we march. Every time we win in the FA Cup, I kind of think to myself, oh, it's good to get a win. You know, good to see a bit of green on the results screen. Maybe that can give me momentum going into the league. Never really happens like that, but maybe this time it can be different. This has been a really good performance so far. I'm going to make a double change in the midfield purely because Cardozo is tired and Pearce I feel like we should just give a rest to as well. I'm looking at Sassi at left back, who's been great, and Garcia at right back, thinking, you know what, lads? We're 2 goals to the good, largely because of your work. Take 5, have a Kit Kat on the sideline. You've done your job. Our wing-backs are up there in the Premier League in terms of players that cover the most ground per 90. They really do put in a shift. Of course, Sassi and Maria Garcia have crazy physicals, which really helps in that regard. At the same time, though, where we can manage their minutes in a game like this where I think job is done, I think that's only a good thing. Luton did have a shot there from range. It went miles over. That, I think, is the first highlight we've seen of them all game. I'm trying to think, if we go to the semi-final, is that going to be our first game ever at Wembley as Lewis manager? Did we go up via the playoffs at any point this year in Park to Prem? I don't think we did. I don't think we've been to Wembley before, which is mental. Can we go there in style? Julio heads over. Bendel over a corner. Coming into the first team, a player who I constantly say, oh, I need to give him more chances. He's got a chance here. Haddad has a shot that's gone out for a throw-in. Although, actually, I think it was saved. It was saved. Okay, that would have been an embarrassing shot on goal. Gromman on the far side with a throw-in. I mean, look, there's 9 minutes left. At this point, just goals for confidence are what I'm looking for. Gromman, can you give me a goal? Can you give me some confidence? Jimenez, Ortiz, Julio, the number 11, looking to cut inside if he can. Gets to the byline, fizzes a shot in, and that was blocked wide. There's a temptation in games like this, isn't there, just to take your foot off the gas, and sometimes your players show like a degree of complacency, it feels like, and the highlights all dry up. We are absolutely bullying Luton right now. We are not showing any mercy to them, and in fact, it might not be done yet. That is a crazy ball by Diop. Is Aguiar on? Is Julio on? I think they are. That is a... Oh, no, they're not. I was about to say, that's a crazy goal. The ball from Diop from the halfway line was absolutely stupendous. Unfortunately, it's not going to count for anything, but it was a great ball, and I think that is going to be all that is said and done. Bit of a formality, this one. The 2 early goals settled the nerves. Managed the game from that point onwards. I mean, looking at the stats here, might be our best performance of the season. Obviously, against a championship team, still our best performance. Also, latest scores, Notts County 2-2 against Liverpool. Does that now go to penalties? I mean, look, our result is good. I want to go see what Notts County are doing. They're in League 2. Imagine if they could beat Liverpool on pens. Like, what is going on in that game? Show me the FA Cup. Oh, my word, Notts County have beaten Liverpool on penalties. What is that? They're second in League 2. I'm having a look at their team here. They've got Simons, who's on £2,700 as their highest earner. Imagine if we got them in the semi-finals. I mean, that would be very beneficial. Please, Football Manager. I don't know, is the draw already done for the next round now? I'm not sure how it works in the FA Cup. I don't think it is. The draw's happening tomorrow. Get me there. Notts County fans, dare to dream. I need to know who we're getting in the semi-final. We've got Newcastle in 3 days. I should rest the players. I'm too excited. I want to pretend I'm excited on behalf of Notts County fans. No, I just want to play against them. But, oh, we've been drawn against Crystal Palace. Wait, Crystal Palace beat Arsenal. Crystal Palace managed to win on penalties, and as a result of that, the semi-final is Lewis v Crystal Palace and Notts County v Chelsea. Oh, please, Notts County, do the funniest thing. Imagine if I was doing Park to Prem and Notts County was me. Like, people would accuse you of save scumming, wouldn't they? They've made mad money here, surely, on this run. They've knocked out Bristol Rovers, Charlton, Tottenham they beat 1-0 at home. Annoyingly, so many of their draws that they've had have been at home, so they've not made big ticket money. I guess their game against Chelsea is what they can look forward to, and I guess our game against Crystal Palace is going to be what we look forward to. That game comes directly after we play Leeds United. Leeds United, one of our big threats in our mission to stay up. That game could be huge tomorrow. Fun little episode today. I feel like I wanted to try and vacuum pack things a little bit. I know I say this a lot. It's always a juggling act with these videos between giving you a load of details as to what's going on and trying to make the videos nice and succinct. And I think like 20 episodes ago I said, I'm going to make the videos more succinct, and then they got longer. I'm still trying to find that balance. I've been doing this 11 years. I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm going to leave you with a screen that I don't show nearly enough in this save game. It's my manager profile whilst I bid you adieu. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. Hopefully I get a wage rise soon. £875 a week as a Premier League manager. I should probably ask about that, shouldn't I? We're back tomorrow. FA Cup semi-final awaits, and until then, it is me, Jack, and I'll see you guys next time. I'm out.